and happy Wednesday. It is noon here in Northern California, which means it's 3 p.m. on the East Coast and even later than that in Europe. And welcome to my weekly Wednesday chat. I'm super excited to be here again this week. For those of you who know me, I am Anne LaFollette. And if you are new here, I am a surface pattern designer, and I am also an artist and a creative entrepreneur. And I actually had a corporate job. It was a great corporate job. I loved my corporate job. I worked in retail, didn't do anything on the creative side of the business. I was definitely on the business strategy side and the finance side of the business, but I had a corporate job forever until I got laid off. And then I realized that my life was not over and I could reinvent myself and create a whole new exciting chapter for myself based on feeling like I had the energy for it. And it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do next. But I discovered this thing called surface design. And I taught myself how to do little doodles and then put them onto fabric and turn them into things like this shirt and quilts, and also put it on paper products like wrapping paper. And so that is what I do now, full time. And I love it. I love to both do it and sell my own products, but I also love to teach about it. And hello, Jean Clark. It's great to see you. You're popping over here from my YouTube channel. It's great to see you from popping over there. And then Soshimo is here as well, which is awesome. And hi, Lana. We got a whole bunch of people popping in from my YouTube channel. And it's so fun because I can now broadcast to multiple places at the same time. So listen, I am 65, and yet I used to find technology really overwhelming. I used to be the type of person who'd take my phone and I'd give it to my husband when it didn't work. But now, because I had to reinvent myself and I wanted to learn how to have an online business so that I could work from anywhere, I now actually approach technology with an open mind. And I find that it's becoming easier and easier to use. And there are more and more tools that if we learn how to use them and kind of know how to use them sort of properly, like what we're going to talk about today, which is ChatGPT, it can actually make our daily life better and more efficient and save us a bunch of time. And I know we're all looking for time-saving ideas. We're always looking for time-saving ideas. And so it's super fun for us to be able to actually talk about that today. Hello, Jeanette. It's great to see you. And Donna Miller. It's so nice to see you here, Donna. I know that you found me a few months ago. So many of you are my friends from forever. So Susan Palmer's been with me for years. And Brenda, it's great to see you back here as well. And hello, Claire. You'll have to let me know kind of how long you've been inside #Anne's Universe. Hello, Judy. It's great to see you. And then Virginia is another one of my OGs, right? My original gals. And so I'm going to jump in. I want to say hi also to Anna Grace, because Anna Grace is back. Anna Grace, you were here last week too. And so I'm so delighted to see you. All right. So what I wanted to do today, so first of all, I am kind of broadcasting. Hello, Deborah Paradis. Deborah Paradis is here. I'm broadcasting from a different location. Of my house. I'm still in my house, but I'm broadcasting from a different location. And this is one of the great things about having a laptop, right? I can take my laptop pretty much into any room in my house and broadcast to you, which is what I'm doing today, because we are finally emptying out my family home. And so I'm actually sitting at this beautiful desk that was my grandfather's that used to be in my parents' bedroom, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's this little teeny it's a little kidney bean shaped table, and it's absolutely perfect. And so it fits in the corner of the living room, and so I can broadcast from here. It gives you a little bit of a different backdrop. And I'm looking out across Mill Valley. There's a beautiful hill on the other side of the street that we're on, and so I get to sort of peek outside while I'm talking to you, and it's the most magical thing. It's the most magical thing. So a couple of quick announcements. So for those of you who are new here, I am going to be doing my Doodles course again in about 10 days. And my Doodles coaching week is where for just $10 you can enroll, and I will teach you how to take a doodle and turn it into a repeating pattern that you can then get made into fabric yourself, or put on wrapping paper, or make it into wallpaper, and pretty much put it on any product you can imagine. So it starts actually on the 17th, and I will make sure that I put the URL in here if you want to sign up for it. You're welcome to take it again if you've taken it in the past and you just want a quick refresher. If you've never taken it before, you should totally take it. So the URL is members.artwithanne. This is hard for me to type on my little cute little phone.com / and then it's Doodles Coaching Week, which is initials DCW, and then dash. And since you guys are all joining me from Facebook, it's going to be the Facebook one. So there we go. Hi, Jean. She said Jean loves the rose plaid behind me. Oh yeah, this is a really great little. It's basically like a little shawl. So, hello, Rogo, you're here. That's awesome. Fantastic. It's great to see you. All right. So, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that if any of you guys want to sign up for Doodles, I just actually got all of the Doodles, like the enrollment page ready to go, so you can learn all about it. And so I'll put that in the different Facebook groups so that you guys can go find it if you need it. So here is the URL to sign up for my $10 Doodles coaching week. And the enrollment page has a little a video for you that you can watch. It has all of the information on there in terms of everything that you get for just $10. And it is everybody who takes it absolutely raves about how incredibly valuable it is, and how much I teach you like real life skills in terms of how to turn a doodle into something that you can put on wrapping paper or fabric, and it only costs you $10. So it's the steal of the century. So here is the URL to sign up for my Doodles coaching week. And so go ahead and click that and then save it, and you can sign up. It starts on the 17th. Okay, so that was not what I wanted to talk about today, though. I wanted to ask you if you read my blog this week, because my blog that you got yesterday morning is about ChatGPT. So tell me in the comments, who's used ChatGPT? Who's played with ChatGPT? Do you guys know what ChatGPT is? Because then I'll kind of start the conversation to make sure that we're all on the same page. So ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence kind of buddy. It can become kind of your writing buddy. And I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to show you how I use it. But tell me in the comments, and I know there's always a little bit of a lag, but I'm seeing that Anna Grace has used it. Rogo says that she's also used it. Virginia is using it on a daily basis. Awesome. And Cheryl said that she knows about it, but she hasn't used it. Paula said she has. Hello, Melody. She's watching it. So you sign up for it. You go to chatgpt.com, and I'll give you the URL, and you sign up for it. It's free. It's a free tool. It's very, very helpful. And Yvonne Poon says that she's used it, and Brenda Crow says she hasn't used it yet. So for those of you who have used it, write in the comments how you're using it, right? So Donna said you're using it for writing and painting a cat. Writing and painting a cat. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So then Jen said that she used it to get ideas for a business name. Yeah, so this is awesome. Tell us, so Deborah watched a Kajabi webinar on it. Excellent. I love that. And Marcia says, children's story, image generation, rap song for fun. Yeah, it can do all kinds of really fun things for you. So for example, I can start to write my blog, and then I'll get a little bored or something, and I'll say, well, write the blog this week as a poem. I haven't used that yet. I haven't actually written my blog as a poem yet, but I could. And one of the things about it is you're really having a conversation with this artificial intelligence thing, right? With the computer. And so you can say, rewrite that poem in the style of Shakespeare's sonnets, and then it will rewrite it using that style. So this is awesome. You guys have you're using it in really interesting ways. So Anna Grace said, I used to get you use it to get your creativity started and flowing. Exactly, Anna Grace. So I use it to get my creative juices flowing each week when I know I need to write my blog. And so you never have to face a blank page. Right? That's the great thing about it is a lot of us who write a lot of content, you sit down and you're staring at your blank computer, or you're staring, if you're writing by hand, a blank piece of paper. And that can really slow you down, and it kind of crimps your style. It's hard to kind of get your creative juices flowing. And yet you can use it to get you generating ideas. So Rogo said she uses it to come up with new idea combinations. Yep, absolutely. And then Yvonne says research and outline for an online course. Exactly. You can ask it, okay, if I wanted to teach a course on this topic, what's the different content I should include, and what order should I provide it in? It's an incredible. So Yvonne, what's your online course going to be about? I want to hear about that. Virginia said it's writing all of my sales page copy, my email sequences, and my blog posts. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to do with you today is I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just some tips that I've currently kind of learned about. So Chat GPT stands for, thank you, Josette, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So I didn't actually know that that's what it stood for. How about that? Using it to block out a blog post or an article. Yep. And then I have used Article Forge, but not ChatGPT, and that's okay. There are actually a lot of them that are being developed simultaneously. I just happened to land on ChatGPT, and one of the things I think that's super important about it is that I never really use what it gives me verbatim. You know what I mean? I already know, for example. So as I mentioned in my blog this week, so let me make sure that I'm sharing my screen so that if you haven't gone to the blog, you know where to find it. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go to my website. So my website is annlafollettart.com. Can you see this up here? It's annlafollettart.com. And you can download my free ebook about how to craft a career in surface design. This is a wonderful free ebook for you. And here's my blog. Do you see where it says blog right here? I'm going to click there. You just see if you guys are seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. I always like to kind of have my phone open as well so that I'm sharing my screen and you can see what I'm doing. And if you click on blog, you can see that I write a blog every single week. So if you go backwards, you can see that for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about this portfolio training that I'm doing in my membership, my Anne's Atelier monthly membership, where I'm helping everyone learn how to create their first portfolio with all of their gorgeous artwork. And so if you're interested in that, you have to email me because we just started in June and it's not too late for you to join. Then I kind of went in a totally different direction last week and talked about Wes Anderson's movie, Asteroid City, because I wanted to kind of use it as an example for understanding what a signature style is, which is a hot topic in the surface design industry and really for designers in general. It's like, what is your signature style? What's different about how you develop art than everybody else? But this year, ChatGPT, never fear the blank page again. And I know it was published yesterday, which was Independence Day here in the United States, but I didn't want to just write a blog about Independence Day. I just figured I wanted to write about ChatGPT because I'm using it a lot. And so the thing I wanted to highlight for you, if you haven't read the blog, is where do you find it? You go to annlafollettart.com and you can do /blog and then pick the most recent one. This actually is the URL that will take you straight to the one that I did yesterday on ChatGPT. And so there's a bunch of different ways you can use it. And many of you mentioned these. You can use it to help write your blog. You can use it to come up with your newsletter outlines. You can absolutely, just like Virginia said, use it for sales copy and opt-in page copy. You can use it for presentation content. And you can also use it for your social media posts. And I think Yvonne said she's using it to help create an online course outline. The sky is the limit. The sky's the limit. But there are a couple of key caveats that I wrote in here that I wanted to make sure that we cover today, which is how effective it is heavily depends on the quality of your prompts. So let me come back on screen and let's talk a little bit about what do I mean by a prompt. So if we go into ChatGPT, I'm going to actually share my screen again, and I've got it open in the background. So ChatGPT, you find it by going to chat.openai.com. And it's called open source, meaning it's open. It's grabbing information from the internet that's open source, and that anything that's available to it that is open and it's open. It's not behind a firewall or something. It can actually pull from as it's helping you with whatever you're using it for. It's a very, very simple screen. There's a 3.5 version and a 4 version. I always use the 4 version, so I just click on the 4 version. And what you do is you basically are going to send it a message. I want to make sure you guys can see what's on the bottom of my screen. Let me bring this up a little higher just because I know there's also on screen the closed captions. And so let me make sure that you guys can actually see where I'm putting the prompt in. And let me maybe I'll make that even a little bit higher. I'm looking on my phone, but I want to make sure that you guys can actually see this too. Let me see if I go sideways. You can see. Okay, so you can see where it says send a message. Can you guys see that? You can see where it says send a message. And so I can say hi, because I'm talking to it. It's actually a really dear friend of mine, right? And you can also say I'd love for you to share the definition, because I see this in the comments, the definition of open source. What does that mean? And then you just hit this enter button. See where it is? And so I know that you already looked this up, Rogo, but let's see what it says. It says, here it is, it's coming up with this definition of what open source is. Open source refers to something, usually software, that is made freely available to anyone for use, modification, and distribution. And it's based on the principle of collaborative development and transparency. And then it gives us some additional context in terms of how, what it means when you're talking about software or hardware or content and data. In other contexts, open source can also refer to various forms of open content and open data, where there's freedom to use the content. Right? So, so that's great. So then if we wanted to do something kind of silly, we could say, can you write a sonnet about the definition of open source? And I don't think I need to actually put it in quotes, but that's my question. Can you write a sonnet about the definition of open source? And let's see what it comes up with. Upon the canvas of a shared ideal, unveiled is code that's open to all. Its secrets once concealed are now revealed, and every line and loop, stand tall, stand small. A beacon bright in realms of cyberspace, where openness fuels innovation's fire, each tweak and change leaves an indelible trace. In this grand tapestry, none ever tire. It's not just code. This ethos grows and spreads to hardware, data, art, and so much more. A universe of sharing deftly threads through every open source heart's core. In unity and openness, we find the shared pursuit of all mankind. So how about that? That's a pretty cute little poem. I did a very, very nice job of that. And so let me come back on screen. And so that was kind of fun, right? That was super fun. One of the things that is important when you're using it is if you are asking it to give you facts, you want to make sure that you double check those facts. You can either Google those facts to double check them, or you might want to go to Wikipedia and double check that the facts it's pulling are in fact accurate, because it's still relatively new and sometimes it will make stuff up. So I don't know if you've read in the newspaper, I don't know if you've been reading some of the newspaper articles about it, but there was a lawyer. I can't believe a lawyer would do this, but there's a lawyer who had to do a brief about some kind of a lawsuit that related to the airlines. And he used ChatGPT. I don't know if he used ChatGPT or Bing's version, or there are a bunch of different versions out there. Anyway, he used an open source AI tool to help him write the brief. And listen to this. This is important. So the computer made up some historical cases, and it used all the right formatting, right? It said, in this person versus this person, which was a lawsuit back in 19 blah blah, the judge found that such and such an event happened, but it was all made up. And the dude, I can't believe this, but the lawyer didn't check. He didn't actually check to make sure he was proofing that these were in fact real cases, and in fact they were made up cases. And so he obviously was sanctioned, and this was not a good thing for his career, and it happened just in the last 6 months or something like that. So you have to be smart about it when you're trying to when you want it to give you facts, make sure you're checking that it's giving you the right facts. And in my blog, I talked about the fact that I actually started to use it about a month ago or so, when my friend and mentor, Stu McLaren, who teaches you how to create your own online membership, any type of membership, whether it's a creative membership or a yoga membership or a dog training membership or whatever. He's the guru who teaches you how to do it really, really profitably. I wanted to have the ChatGPT help me with an introduction, like who is Stu McLaren and why do you want to know about him? And so it popped out a paragraph for me, but when I know him very well, so it was accurate, but it was very old. It was sort of his past life history as opposed to what he's really known for and been known for kind of for the past 10 years. And so it's just very, very important that you check all of your sources, right? You got to check all of your sources. Fact checking is important because you just don't know where it's getting its information. It's getting it from out there somewhere, or it's making it up because it's actually very smart and it can make stuff up. So then the other thing too, so it is, Jean, incredibly easy to use. It's incredibly easy to use. You sign up for an account at chat.openai.com. It's free. Then you basically have to put in your email and a password, and then you can basically open it up, and you can sit down and say, okay, I have to write my blog this week, and I'm going to be So one of the first times I used it, and you guys got the benefit of this, I sat down one Sunday night, because that's when I write my blog, and I wanted to do a summer theme, like what are fun things to do for the summer? And so I asked it, well, what are 10 super fun creative things to do during the summertime? And it gave me a whole bunch of ideas, and some of them I liked and some of them I didn't, but then I ended up sort of making sure I wrote it in my own voice. And so if we go back to my blog, it helped me write this 10 surface design projects for the summer. So it had given me it had given me some of these, and then it gave me others that didn't really work under the theme of surface pattern design. But essentially, it gave me these ideas, and then I actually built out the paragraphing. Right? So I will give it kind of I want to write something about fun projects to do, creative projects to do for the summer, give me some ideas, and then all of a sudden I can then interact with it and continue to build on what it's giving me, and come up with the final blog post that's in my own voice. So this was if you missed this 10 surface design projects for the summer, you can come back to AnnaLaFollettart.com and find it under the blog tab. So the other thing that's super interesting about it, so two quick pro tips. and then I'll let you go. So 2 quick pro tips is when you're using it, it creates a thread in the left-hand margin. So let me go share my screen again. Let me make sure it's open in the background, and let me share it with you. So this is a pro tip if you haven't been using it before. See where I have previous 30 days? It's telling you like where you can see some of the things I've been playing with it. Actually, I guess I've been using it since January. Yeah. I guess I've been using it. I didn't realize I'd been using it since January, but I guess I started playing with it in January. I only did one thing in January, but each one of these was a conversation that I had with it, an individual conversation that I had with it. But one of the things that you can do is what I did like in the last 7 days was I wanted it to start to sort of learn my voice, so that I'd have to do a little bit less tweaking of what it sounds like when it gives me some of the content that I'm looking for. So you can say, these all get saved. So now I've got one that's open source defined, and so I can always go back and continue to build on that conversation, right? So So it's super important. You're always proofing it, right? You're always proofing it, and you're always wanting to ensure it sounds like you. You don't want it to sound like a robot. So what I am now doing is I'm giving it content that I have written. I've given it a blog post from earlier in the year that I totally wrote myself. I'm giving it some of my email copy. I'm also just cutting and pasting some of the content that's on, for example, my Pattern Design Academy enrollment page. And then I told it, listen, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of content. I'm going to give you a blog post, then I'm going to give you an email, and finally I'm going to give you some sales copy. Wait until I give you all 3 of these pieces, and then I want you to analyze my writing style. And I want you to tell me what is unique about my writing style, and because I'd like you to start to mimic my writing style or write in my style when we have these conversations each week. And so over time, it's going to get better and better and better at doing that. But that's a really great way for you to also have it start to realize and start out in your voice as opposed to sounding like it's just generating it from the internet. And you always want to check your sources. And then Maureen said, I've used ChatGPT and it's really fun. It is. Geraldine said it can also omit things. And so it wrote about a plant that was topic, but didn't say how to tell. And which ones were safe. Yeah, so you totally need to, it's not like it can do all the work for you. So this is a big time saver, but you can't skip the important steps, which is making sure it sounds like you, proofing it to ensure that it is not giving you inaccurate information, and then also making sure that that you feel it's still representational of you and your voice. Do you feel like you'll be penalized SEO-wise if you use ChatGPT for your blog? I don't think so, Allie. I think that the thing about it is that I am always still looking through the, I mean, right now I would say that I'm still writing about 75% of the words. It's giving me 25% of either making the idea a little bit more robust or helping me kind of figure out how to organize it, the content. But when I get started, I say, I want to write my blog about Wes Anderson's movie Asteroid City. So I already tell it that's what I want to write about. This is what I wrote about last week. Then I'll say, I want to highlight how his movies represent his signature style. And then I'll also say, okay, a signature style in surface design means this. And so then I will tell it this. So this is what I'm looking for. And then I'll say, having just watched the movie, I found 3 things in the movie that were really representational of his signature style. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And then I'll say, can you write a blog post about what I've just described to you and help give me a first draft? And so it will then give me a first draft. And then again, I will absolutely rearrange things potentially. I'll maybe change some of the language if it still doesn't sound like me. And so there's still, but it's much faster than me sitting down and saying, okay, how am I going to get started writing about this Wes Anderson thing? It's like having a writing buddy. It's like having a writing buddy, which is awesome. All right, so then the other thing that Jean said is I can see how this would help give you ideas for theme-based motifs, holiday. Exactly. So Jean, that is fantastic. So if you're sitting down and you're working on your portfolio, because that's what we're working on together in my membership, in my Anne's Atelier membership, if you know that you want to have a section in your portfolio that's all about the holiday, and if you're Christian, it's about the Christian holiday, or if you're Jewish, it's about Hanukkah, whatever you decide you want it to be. But that's the time of the year when most sales happen. It's during the Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you don't want to miss out having your elements in your portfolio that speak to that season. You can absolutely go in there and say, give me 25 ideas for what type of patterns I could create that are themed, Christmas themed. Right? And then it'll give you 25 ideas, and then you have to go create the artwork, but you've got a list to go from. The other thing it does that's really great is at the end of when I'm sort of finishing a conversation with it, I'll say, give me 25 potential titles for this blog post. And then it'll spit out like 25 potential titles. And then I'll say, those are all too long. Give me shorter ones, because most of the time you don't want the title to actually wrap. You don't want it to wrap. You want it to fit like 5 words or something. And so then it'll spit out 25 more potential titles. And then I'll say, okay, that's awesome. Now that you know we've kind of landed on the first draft of the blog, help me write the email, because I'm going to send an email to my email subscribers telling them why they need to click the button to pop over to my blog. Help me with a title that will entice them. How did you like my title this week? Did you like the Never Fear the? So one of them was Never Fear the Blank Page, which I think is the title of the blog post. But the email was blog. It always says that it's my blog, so you know it's my blog. And then it said, blank page be gone. Right? Blank page be gone. So I don't know if that was a good subject line that convinced you to actually open the email, whereas you might have skipped it if it had been a more boring subject line in my email. And so you can have it right in any style that you want. So Maureen, you're exactly right. You could say you can have it right like Hemingway too. You can have it right like anybody. And so Virginia, what did I say that you wanted to know more about? Tell me, and then I'm going to let you guys go if you don't have any questions. And you can totally go through a plagiarism checker. I mean, I'm creating my own content, and so it seems very unlikely that that's going to be a problem. But it's a tool. Exactly, Cheryl. And that's a great way for us to wrap up this conversation. It's a tool. It's not going to do everything for you, but it does save a lot of time. And I know that many of us find that we don't have that we'd like to get some time back, right? We'd like to get a little bit of time back. So I have asked it to create a website structure for a kitchen and cooking site, and it did a great job. Then I asked it some substructure ideas and now I can have a very simple logical structure for my site. Brilliant. That's a brilliant, brilliant way to use it. That's a brilliant way to use it. And that was Tommy. Hey, Tommy. I see that you're watching it inside Anne's Art Club, which is why your name was not showing up, but that is awesome. I love it. And then let's see. So Claire said, I'm so excited about this. Can totally see a use for this in so many ways, especially to write my novels. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then Anna Grace said, for me, ChatGPT is like a springboard to sprout my own content. Anna Grace, that's a perfect way to describe it. It's just like Cheryl said, it's a tool, and it's also just a springboard. It's not going to do everything for you, but it absolutely is going to help you get your work done faster. And Virginia said, I never use it exactly as it comes out. I always tweak it to be more the way I like to talk. It gets me started, though. Yeah, for sure. So, Virginia, what you could do is you could put into it and tell it what you're doing, right? This is another thing about how you need to get good at prompts. And prompts mean the questions you're asking it. And so you can say, I want you to learn more about my style, my voice style, my writing style, what I sound like when people are writing content that they get from me. And then you can cut and paste things you've created in the past that do sound like you, and then tell it, analyze this for me. What is it? How would you describe my writing style? And then once it comes back, you can say, well, that's sort of right, but I think I'm a little bit more cheerful or something, whatever, because you're educating it. And then you say, okay, now you're going to help me write my blog, or you're going to help me write my sales copy. And I want you, now that you know my writing style, I want you to use my style to write it. So give that a try. It can be super fun. What is the checker you feel best about? So I'm actually not using a checker because it's all written by me. And so, but somebody else can in the comments who's using a checker can put their recommendation in there for you, Cheryl. That's a great question. And it is like a great virtual assistant. It's a great virtual assistant, and they're available anytime you want, right? And so if you're like having insomnia, who might have insomnia from time to time, you can say, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go do some more work on whatever I need to do work on, and then my virtual assistant's available, and I'm not waking her up, right? I'm not waking her up. Okay. All right, so it was an awesome title. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, giving it your own content to analyze. Exactly. You totally want to give it your own content to analyze. All right, you guys are awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And for those of you who missed the live broadcast, you can watch the replay. And then I'll also send it out to you who are on my email list if you didn't have a chance to pop over with us live because you're probably working. And I hope that you absolutely love this introduction to ChatGPT and some top tips on how to use it effectively. All right, so you guys know I always like to say in closing that I am Anne LaFollette, and it's never too late to create. That's my motto. It's never too late to create, because I started creating in my late 50s after I lost my corporate job. And I will be back again next week, right? Every Wednesday, noon Pacific time, pretty much come rain or shine, unless I'm on an airplane. All right, so I will see you next Wednesday. And in the meantime, go grab that URL to sign up for my Doodles coaching week, which starts in about 10 days. And I hope to see you there. All right, bye for now.